Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson again, and we're going to continue our studies. This time we are talking about factoring the difference of perfect squares. Here are the steps. Express each of the terms as the square of a monomial. Then apply the rule a squared minus b squared equals parenthesis a plus b parenthesis a minus b. So I want you to notice inside the parenthesis you have a A, B in both parentheses, but the only difference between them is a plus sign in one and a minus sign in the other. And they call this the difference of perfect squares because when you're factoring, you have a minus sign in between your A squared and B squared, and that minus sign is another way of saying difference. So you're going to have pretty much the same thing you have in each parenthesis, just one difference will be the signs. One will be positive and one will be negative. So let's look at an example and let's see how it goes. So factor into binomials. So we're going to first draw a set of parentheses, and then we're going to express this squared into two parts. So what I'm really doing in a sense, and I like to do it this way, take the square root of y squared, and that would give me y. Y because y times y equals y squared. So I'll put 1y over here and 1y over there. Now I'm going to also express the 64 as a square root value. So the square root of 64 is 8. So I'm going to put 1 8 here and 1 8 here. And remember, our rule, we have to put one sign is going to be plus or positive and one sign is going to be negative. So our answer is going to be y plus 8 times y minus 8. And when we do our FOIL, we'll see that y times y will give us y squared. And let's write that out. Y times y will give us the y squared. Y times the minus 8 will give us minus 8y, plus y times y will give us plus 8y, and positive 8 times minus 8 will give us negative 64. Now remember from our FOIL video, when you have your inner and outer, they can be combined because they're like terms. So I have a minus 8y plus a positive 8y. That gives me 0 8y. In other words, they cancel out, leaving me with just y squared minus 64, which is what I started with from the beginning. So my answer is going to be y minus 8 times y plus 8. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. So here's a problem for you. Factor into binomials, s squared minus 49. So hopefully you'll understand how to do it, but you may have to rewatch the video to see what I did. Check your understanding. If you understand it so far, great. If not, watch the video again and write down some questions and bring them in the class. Here's another one. Factor into binomials. We have a fraction this time. 1 over 81 minus t squared. Well, that's no problem. I'm going to use that same trick that I did a few minutes ago. I'm going to draw first two sets of parentheses. And so now I'm going to use my square root sign on this fraction, two parts. Square root of 1 is 1, because 1 times 1 is 1. Square root of 81 is 9, because 9 times 9 is 81. So I'm going to put a 1/9 in both of these because 1 times 1 is 1, 9 times 9 is 81. So now I'm going to take the square root of t squared. So the square root of t squared, that will be t times t. And I'm going to put a t here and a t on the other parenthesis. And remember, I have to put a plus sign or a minus sign in both of the binomial expression. So I'll have a 1/9 minus t times 1/9 plus t. Notice they look almost identical, except one has a minus sign and one has a plus sign, and that is the difference of perfect squares. So my answer is going to be 1/9 minus t times 1/9 plus t. So I hope you got that, even though we had a fraction, it wasn't that bad. Here's another one for you. 1/9 r squared minus 64s squared over 121. So give it a shot. I hope you found the lesson easy and enjoyable to do. Perfect squares aren't too bad. So hopefully you'll have questions and we can go over it in class. So write them down, rewatch the video if you have to, and I'll see you next time. This is Dr. Robinson. Bye-bye.